like wild bucks. That's how you did it. But when you meet in those conditions, to bacha the Quran, Yasin Sharif, Allah's names, you want to know who's who. You say, what's your name? You say, Yusuf. And you? Say, Ibrahim. You? Dawood. You? Muhammad. You? Yusuf. You? Muhammad. You? Dawood. Right, but how do you know who's who now? We're talking about this Yusuf. So which Yusuf? You know, I said that Yusuf. So which one? It's a guy who worked for Fenter, man. So he becomes Yusuf Fenter. That Muhammad, he works for Hendrix. You know, Hendrix has enslaved him. Here's Muhammad Hendrix. Can you see that? For identity. Now we have to give Yusuf. How many Yusufs? We had to give the identity. We said, look, this is Yusuf Hendrix, this is Yusuf, and this is Johnson. You know, Yusuf Johnson, and this is Yusuf. So that is how convenient labels you created for yourselves to recognize one another. Allah Bari Ta'ala on a global scale, He created convenient labels, different people, so we can recognize them. But we all have a sickness. Who is better among the lot now? I say we, my nation, you know, my nation. I'm a Surti. We say we are the Aryans, a master race. We conquered India 5,000 years ago, my forefathers. My nation belongs to that Morarji Desai, the guy who was ruling India, Prime Minister. Nehru's nation, that's my nation. If I was not a Muslim, I'll be boasting, I'm an Aryan, Arya. So this sickness is there. For 5,000 years, the thing is there. We are being programmed. 5,000 years, the same sickness. We are better than the other fellow. In my village, our villagers, every villager feels he's better than the other villager. There's a river in between. I won't give my daughter to the guy on the other side because that's like a foreign country. On the other side of the river, Salt River, one side is another nation, another side is another nation of Malays. Can you imagine? This guy on the west side, he won't give his daughter to the guy on the east side. That's how we were in India. So this is there. Everybody feels. The German feels he is topmost. The Englishman feels he is topmost. The Buddha feels he is the topmost. Everybody feels he is the topmost. You know that? This is the sickness of man. This is how man feels. To give him happiness, consolation. So what are you going to do about that sickness? So Allah is telling you, He says, no. These are all false standards. In His sight, He said, Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. Most certainly, the noblest in Allah's sight is he who is the best in conduct. Not black or white, not Konkani or Malay, not Arab or Ajam, the best in conduct. So this is the only standard. He says, don't drink. Now it doesn't say you Indian Muslim mustn't drink. No, it says the whole of humanity. Don't touch that abomination. It's an abomination of Satan's handiwork. Don't gamble. It doesn't say the Muslim mustn't gamble, the others must. It's, no. Nobody. People don't gamble. So in other words, a happier community. No drinking, no gambling, no fortune telling, no idol worship. So Islam has a solution to the problem of race. Nobody has it. No other nation, no other system has the problem of race. Islam has the solution. So I said, look, accept Islam. In Medina, before our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said his sacred feet, they were the Aus and the Khazraj, two tribes. And these tribes were on the verge of exterminating one another. Fighting over little things, killing one another. They are all Arabs, they are all Quraysh. But they are two different tribes. They are killing one another. Until our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said his sacred feet in Medina, and he offered them Hablillah, the rope of Allah. Allah says, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Hold fast to the rope of Allah. What is this rope? You see from dangling from heaven? No, Allah's kalam, the Holy Quran, that's the rope Allah wants you to hold on to. Once you all, drowning humanity, all of us, when you hold to that, that becomes your common denominator. Your mutual support will save you all. Go to the book. We are not going to the book. All of us, we are not going to the book of Allah. Who are we going to? To our leaders. We have our heroes. You know that? My heroes are from Jalalabad. So what that guy says, I accept. The guy from Rawalpindi, what he knows about Islam. The guy from Al-Azhar, what he knows about Islam. The guy who comes from qualified from Al-Azhar, he said, this Hindi fellow, what does he know about Islam? This is the sickness. We got our own heroes. We are hero worshippers. We are not worshipping Allah, we are worshipping our heroes. Therefore, that strife, all this problem is hero worshipping. You go to Allah's kalam, sincerely, all together say, look, let's see what Allah says. And wallah, you'll find the answers there. And even if you make a mistake, Allah will reward you. 2 rewards. Or 1 reward. You make a mistake sincerely, you go to the Quran and you misunderstood and you applied it. Not for mischief making, but you misunderstood, you applied it. Allah will give you 1 reward for that. If you applied it right, He'll give you 10. There's no punishment. On the day of judgment, He'll say, look, Deedat, you had it all wrong, man. My Lord, He says, look, I didn't know. So what was it? He said, no, it was like this. Not the way you understood. Wallah, no punishment. If mischief was not your intention. But I want to create mischief, I want to create division, I want to create people to follow me against the other fellow. How can I create strife that people have to now take sides? That is shaitani, satanic, devilish. We will be punished for it. Forget the heroes. Go to Allah's kalam. It becomes a common denominator. Then we can talk. So what does Allah say on this subject? What does Allah say? Let's have a look. Is there an ayah about this in the Quran? Allah says, yes. Says, let's have a look. And Allah has given you intelligence. You read it, He says, no man, it makes sense. This is the answer. What do we do with Rushdie? Go to the Quran. Allah tells you what to do. But no, I have my heroes. Should I follow this fellow or that fellow? If it appears that I'm following that guy, then he's the enemy of my hero. So I can't agree with him. I must agree with my hero. What does he say? Now that means you have to go on the day of judgment. Allah will put us with our heroes. If he goes to hell, you'll have to go to hell with him. No. Here the answer is there. The solution to our problems is here in Allah's kalam. Wallah. And there is nothing wet or dry that is not in the book of God, Allah says. Everything that you want, that you need is all there. But you don't know the book. I'm asking people, I delivered a lecture, that do you know that crucifixion is in the Quran? I said, come on, put up your hands. How many of you know? That means you know from reading the Quran that crucifying a person, if the person has done certain mischievous things, that person can be crucified. Very horrible death. Like they say what they did to Jesus, we can do to anybody. For certain mischievous behavior, beliefs, we can crucify the man. Ahmed Deedat or Saleh Muhammad or whoever. For certain crimes, the guy deserves to be crucified. If we had the power and the rule, we say Allah says so, this guy deserves to be crucified. I say, how many of you know that in the Quran, this is the type of punishment that you can mete out to certain types of people who commit certain sins, crimes? Please put up your hands. There was only one person. Only one person is a huge audience in the masjid. Only one person, he said he knew that such a thing is in the Quran. Can you imagine? And we are Muslims. We are prepared to die for Allah, die for the Quran. So what do you know about the Quran? Therefore I said, look my brothers, it's necessary. Get the book, man. Today, there's not another nation on earth which is as fortunate as you. There isn't. That they can buy a Quran. If I tell the Americans, it's less than $2 each. So what? To print 50,000 in France, to send them to America, 50,000, it cost me $5.35. 50,000. I had them printed to send them to America. How much they're selling? They're selling for 5. Then I'm telling them, I said, look, these black Muslims, that's how you, Afro-American Muslims, the new converts. I said, look, if they are prepared to buy 1,000 at a time, give them for $3. Costing me $5.35, sending across the Atlantic, sell them for $3. Tell them that the guy who goes and sells, he makes $1 and you make $1. Look, I want people to have this book. This book is going to save us. This Allah is telling you, hold fast to Allah's rope. But we haven't got the rope. We haven't got it. We bacha the Quran. We listen to our qaris, we go into ecstasy and we exclaim Allahu Akbar. I said, what is Allahu Akbar for? It's not the message. It's the music. It's the music, the rhythm, the breath control. No? What are you shouting Allahu Akbar for? Tell me. The message? No. It's not the message that tickled you or me. It's the music of the Quran. It moves men to ecstasy and tears, even non-Muslims. A.J. Arbery, a Christian, he translates the Quran into English as a Christian. He says, whenever I hear the Quran chanted, you know, beautifully the way we read it, like this morning, there was a wedding here, beautiful recitation by a brother called Abdul Rahman. Abdul Rahman, what's his name? Sardin, Abdul Rahman Sardin. While I was listening to him, I was feeling jealous. I was feeling jealous. I said, this fellow Saleh Muhammad, why didn't he ask this fellow to read tomorrow night in the Good Hope Center? Then after everything was over, I'm asking him, who's that fellow? He said, this is the fellow who will read tomorrow night. I said, alhamdulillah. Beautiful, wallah, beautiful recitation. We hope he'll be reading tomorrow night. He won the second prize in the world contest among the Qadis, and that to me means nothing. Second and first, there's no real difference. Because people, when they choose between first and second, they can't really make up the minds. You can't. They're so close. So then our prejudice comes in. I said, look, this guy here, you know, he's a poor guy from Africa. You know, if you give him the first prize, it'll do him a lot more good than that guy coming from South Africa. The South Africans are well-to-do people, very nice, you know. So I said, look, I'll give it to this fellow. You know that? We can't be absolute just. Allah won't question about that. It's too delicate. That's too delicate now. That type of justice. You see, you have a tendency to help them, and okay, it'll help this fellow man. Saleh's son and some poor man's son. I said, Saleh's son gets $1,000. What is it to him? You know, says, look, it's good, this is good. I said, no, we give it to the other fellow. All the judges, you know, we are human mind after all. I don't think Allah will question us about that. It's too fine. It's too fine. It's very difficult. Justice, can you see now how difficult it is? But this is what we are going to do. But don't do injustice to people. So, I have drifted off.
The race problem.
Yes. Yes. So, Islam has the answer that can bring the blood together. The Muslim colored and the Christian colored together. The Indians, Hindus, Muslim, Christian, all, only Islam can bring them together. The Jews and the Christians and the Muslims, only Islam can bring them together. So I said, this is the only solution to the racial problem of South Africa. Come and talk to me. Have you got another solution? Bring it. We want to hear. What have you got? We know the mess you have made already. This is. So that was it, my son. Somebody asked here. This is it. So Islam has the answer to that. But then the Muslim fellow jumps in. You know that? The Muslim jumps into the newspaper trying to ridicule. I say, you Muslim and you're a Maulana, you know, means a Sheikh. You doubt what I'm telling? You are a Muslim? Look, let the Hindu come forward fighting me. Let the Christian come forward. Let the Jew come forward. Let the Buddha come forward. No, it's a Muslim shaitan who comes forward to fight me. You know that? Where is hurting you? Why should you come to fight me now? Ridicule me for what I'm telling you. But now sickness. You see now, Deedat fellow is going to get a name. Deedat says this. Now you must contradict Deedat. Yes, my brothers. Yes.
Deedat said last night and tonight that we can buy the Holy Quran and give it to our Christian brothers.
Yes.
According to what we know and we practice that
we must have it. Right.
We do Holy Quran.
Yes.
Now how do we give it to them?
Right. I will answer that. The question is, those of you who haven't heard, you see, the idea is that we ourselves, we do not hold the Quran without wudu. We must be in a state of taharat. Maybe a married man, you had sex with your wife, next morning or after that you can't hold the Quran. You must have a complete bath. These are our regulations. We must uphold them. Then what about the non-Muslim? How can you give him when he doesn't wash his backside? look, the objection sounds very valid. Allah tells us in the Quran, La yamassuhu illa al-mutahharun, so none shall touch it except those that are pure. When we are not in a state of purity and when we can't touch it, that guy, is he pure? He's not. How can he touch it? I said, look, your reasoning is very good. But there are two standards of judging. One is, you and I are bound by a constitution. You have to follow that constitution. The other guy is outside that constitution. Until you have him converted, as soon as he is converted, he also has to follow that constitution. But while he is outside, his intention, his niyyah, gives him that purity of receiving it. And this is not, I'm trying to sell, I'm to do business. Therefore I'm trying to do this, do business. Because with every Quran you buying, I'm giving you 15 rands. Wallah, 15 rands. That means, but I'll kiss your hand. I said, Jazakallah for buying it. Every Quran that I'm giving out to people is costing me 15 rands extra. I give you the Quran, you give me 5, that means out of 25 I got. And I give you 15 with it. So what's the purpose? What kind of madness is this? Why must I do that? To go to hell? No. I said, you see, I follow the example of our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Towards his last days on earth, when he could sit back and relax, the whole of Arabia was at his feet. It was only a question of polishing them up, making them better Muslims. And relax now. Let the Sahaba, let them do the job. Not so. Allah Bari Ta'ala sends Akhi Jibreel to him towards his last days in Medina and commands him, tells him, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا كَافَّةً لِلنَّاسِ بَشِيرًا وَنَذِيرًا وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. He said, we have not sent you, O Muhammad, but as a giver of glad tidings and as a warner to the whole of mankind. Not only to the Arabs, but to the whole of mankind. وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. But the bulk of mankind, they still do not know. So what does he do? Can he start running in all directions? Has he got this, what's this? This tax machines, this TV, BBC, ABC, America, PBS, what has he got? Nothing. Nothing. What is he going to do? So what he had, he did. He called the scribes, people who could read and write. He said, come. He dictated 5 letters to the Emperor of Persia, Emperor of Constantinople, the King of Egypt, the King of Yemen, and the Negus of Abyssinia. 5 letters on 5 scrolls, something like skin, like parchment. He gave one each to one Sahaba with one horse, the Arabian horse, the Mercedes-Benz of the time, BMW of the time. That's the Arabian horse. Invaluable life, one Sahaba, 1,000 miles this way, another one 1,500 that way, one across the Red Sea, 5 Sahabas. He risked their lives to go and deliver that message. And on that message, there's one in the Topkapi Museum in Turkey. I have seen it with my own eyes. It begins, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. First ayah of the Quran. It begins with the first ayah of the Quran. It says, from Muhammad Rasulullah to Heraclius, the Emperor of Constantinople, accept Islam and be benefited. Then another ayah from the Quran, قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ تَعَالَوْا إِلَىٰ كَلِمَةٍ سَوَاءٍ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَكُمْ أَنْ لَا نَعْبُدَ إِلَّا اللَّهَ وَلَا نُشْرِكَ بِهِ شَيْئًا وَلَا يَتَّخِذَ بَعْضُنَا بَعْضًا أَرْبَابًا مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا فَقُولُوا اشْهَدُوا بِأَنَّا مُسْلِمُونَ. Then he ends in his own words and his seal. 5 letters went out like that. Allah's kalam, he is giving it to the non-Muslim. Those people had no taharat whatsoever. They didn't wash the backsides. You know that? Our Nabi didn't say, look, you go and ask the fellow. He said, look, did you have a bath? He said, no. Go, ghusl and come. No. He said, look, go and give it all respect. This is what our Nabi did. So, if you giving the Quran, if you are in trouble, you are in good company. If Allah will choke you up, you'll have to choke up his Nabi as well. Because he set as an example. This is what he did. So this purity, La yamassuhu illa al-mutahharun, is on a different level. And you ask the alim, there are alims, they tell you, no, you can't give. Because it's Arabic script. That makes it holy. Alright? You can give a translation. The same fellow will tell you, you can give translation. It's all right. There are 10 million Coptic Christians in Egypt. Egyptian Christians who speak Arabic as the mother tongue. They are the original people of Egypt. These are converts to Islam. All the Egyptian Muslims, 40 million, are converts from Coptic Christianity. You didn't know that? Before Islam reached Egypt, what were they? They were Coptic Christians, all. So the majority of them became Muslim, and those that remained behind, today there are 10 million Coptic Christians in Egypt. I'm asking this Sheikh, this Alim, ask him, what translation will you give him? Afrikaans? Chinese? What translation? Come on, tell me now. They are Arabs, man. What translation? He said, no, I can't give you Arabic. I must give you Zulu. Does it make sense to you? Lunacy, man, lunacy. Now tell me, I said, look, here, 10 million there. In the Lebanon, there are Arab Christians. There are 15 million Arab Christians in the world. Tell me, what translation will you give them? What translation? Tell me. You, if our Nabi was there, say, no, we can't give him this Arabic Quran, we must have it, somebody translate it in Chinese and then give it to him. Is that what he will do? Huh? Look, what did he do? He wrote letters in Arabic to people who couldn't read Arabic because he couldn't help it. If he knew Greek, he would have written the first letter in Greek. To the Ethiopian, he would send in Ethiopian language. To the Yemen, he would send in the Yemenis language. No. What they knew Arabic, they wrote it in Arabic and they sent somebody, hoping somebody will translate it for them. That's what he did. The Arabic Quran, verses he sent out, what is good for my Nabi is good enough for me. He set me an example. So if I'm in trouble, I'm in good company. You are also in good company. Yes, my brother.
Yes, you always configure against your character, your place, your work. I don't remember that returning to your religion now. The reason why God is a priest, I don't remember about it. Then we had a community, group of people who went into the shop and throw all the food which were on the shelf in the fridges and stands are loud on the floor. They are all against this, allowed food the Muslims must eat. They don't want to sign allowed in their shops anymore. What do you have to say to the people, other people? They are not, they don't read and write actually. Go to the shop, there is no sign, it's allowed. What do you have to say about this? If you want to know the change from the color to the vision of the people.
Yes, I think in short, your question is that since there is a controversy at the moment, some Dutch Reformed churches, they have taken it up as an issue in the Transvaal and other places, and as you say now here, that if there's a halal label on, which satisfies us, they say, look man, then we can buy without having to give a second thought. If the price is right, if the thing that we want is there, we buy it because it's halal. Now they don't want that halal, they want to throw it out. Now how do we respond to that type of thing? Now that to me is the MJC, Muslim Judicial Council, and the Islamic Council of South Africa. These are the brains. They must supply the answers. If these Christians want to talk to me, so I'm prepared to talk to them. So come man, talk. Where is getting stuck, this halal getting stuck in your throat? Come, talk to me. I can talk to them. But how we are going to solve this problem? I said, look, our leaders, they must tell us what to do. So start slaughtering your own chickens. You know, we have lost the art of slaughtering chickens. I'm sure if I've asked you people in the last 12 months, how many of you slaughtered one chicken? And there won't be one fellow. Right? We have lost that. That militance has gone out. Your wife has never done it. Your mother has never done it in her life. Look, we have to train our people also to do their own slaughtering. However, look, that's all philosophizing. The thing is, there are real people who can give you a lead. To me, I look up to them. Like in the Natal and the Transvaal. In Natal, my Jamiyat Ulama, at one time they told me that rainbow chicken is halal. I accepted that. I was buying it. Then something happened. They said, we don't give any more halal certificate. So I don't buy any more rainbow chickens. I trust them because I know my alims, you can't buy them. You can't bribe them. They can make mistakes. They can make wrong decisions, but you can't buy them. So if my alim, I have trust in them. There are so many other things I fight and argue and debate, like the Quran issue. I'll argue and debate with them. But halal and haram, no arguments. He tells me rainbow chicken halal, I said right. He said, but how can you slaughter so many 100,000 in so many hours? How can you do 10 a minute or 20 a minute? I said, look, please, don't burden me. The burden is on the heads of our alims. Yes, brother.
Can you tell us a little bit about the psychology of propaganda?
Yes, I delivered a whole lecture on that. The gist of it was the psychology of propagation, that you speak to a people, anybody, according to the background and experience. If you're a fisherman, you're going to catch fish. What type of fish are you catching? There is a shad, there is 74, there is this, that, different fish. Different type of fish, they take different type of baits. If you're a fisherman, So, that's a psychology. You're using psychology with the fish. Similar psychology you use with human beings. What background? The Hindu, well, you have to talk to him according to his background and experience. The Christian, according to his background and experience. The Jew, according to his background and experience. And Allah is giving it to us in the Holy Quran. He says, anybody comes along with any type of claim, you simple, basic thing, tell him, Kul hatu burhanakum. Your proof. Once you get his proof, you know how to deal with it. This is the psychology I was trying to explain. The tape will be available, inshallah, shortly, because it took more than an hour to expound that. Yes?
I'd like to ask you, how do you reply to a plausible statement stating that Islam is unjust towards the female folk, especially restricting it in the community?
Especially in the?
Restricting them in the community.
Restricting them in the community. No, I do agree with that criticism. We Muslims, to me, we are the most unjust people to our women folk. Look, now I'm going to raise a hornet's nest. I can't help it. You see, here I have to take a stand that we have been unjust to our own. We allow them to work in our shops, in our offices, work in factories, our women folk. But we will not allow them in the house of God. When we do, sometimes some great lecturers coming, like Ahmed Deedat. So what they do, they put them behind the wall with a horn.